Okay. Let me just check out a couple things, make sure it sounds looking good. Is this right? I'm not hearing anything. There we go. All right, let's see here. Let me check a status of things. Control Shift plus, and then let's go check out where I left the code. Made a bunch of changes. Really? Like touched everything? All right, git ignore. Right, all right. I was doing a bunch of linting basically. Resolving linting issues. Right, and then main.gd, I'm experimenting with call delayed. Right, so what is it? The goals that I'm trying to do for today is really just like, let's get static images from the pass-through camera. And where I left things was if you turn on the pass-through camera on the Quest 3 with Godot, it like, you know, kind of sort of crashes after a minute for some reason. Turning it off and turning it back on again periodically seems to resolve that. So now what I want to try to see if I can do, well, one, let me just confirm that like I can consistently do that. Toggle it off, toggle it on again. And I was experimenting with some like auto stop, like call delayed kind of thing here. Which wasn't working when I tried it before. But let me experiment with that again. And then I think really now what I need to do is get still images and be able to OCR them. And I was trying to get still images and it wasn't working. So that's really the thing I want to quickly find myself getting into. Let's just do that. Hold on, little adjustment. Perfect. Okay. Hands warmed up, and let's go into it. So let me start by just running this. And if I'm gonna run it, I might as well get this up. Let's cast. And then consider here while that runs. There. Not enough memory to run reading room, so there does seem to be maybe some sort of memory issue. I didn't see that before, and that didn't seem to happen while I was running it. It came up after. Kind of weird. Let's wait for this deployment. So yeah, when I ran this last time, it didn't work. So now I got to figure out why that is. Ugh, my keyboard tray is a little out of sorts. Have to fix that. How did that happen? While this is building, let me go grab something. doing and it's installing. And in between builds, I'll try to fix my desk here. There we go. Desk fixed. So that finished. Hold on 1 second here. Why is YouTube telling me it's not getting a good stream? Huh. Well, maybe that'll go away. It's on. All right, let me check this out. Give permissions to the app. All right. And let's see what it does. Oh, not enough cameras. Well, duh. I'm not doing my proper thing here. Let's quit that and relaunch it. Now it'll find enough. Oh, got an error. An actual error. Really? What happened to that error? Okay. Why are we just calling stopping over and over again? Okay, so that's not supposed to happen. I think this is what happened last time. Okay, so we end up just calling stop over and over again. All right, killing it. So when stop is called, on ready, we do call delayed. And it's supposed to be a one shot. So it's only ever supposed to happen once. Right? Hold on, let me check out YouTube stream quality. I don't know why it's saying it's terrible. I mean, I don't know how much I actually care, but. I mean, it's a little bit delayed. I don't know. Looks fine to me. All right. I'm not going to worry about it. Not my concern right now. Okay, so this is supposed to be a one shot. So, and what is a call? Yeah, whatever the callable it is, you pass in. Oh, god damn it. Well, you know, I knew it was going to be something. Or it's going to be something really weird. Cool. All right, let's run that again. Oh, and to make my life easier, let's get this figured out. Control-Shift+++, CD. Well, I don't even need to do it from here. History type rep ADB. Nah, it still doesn't have that history. That's really annoying. Where do I want to be? let me get my command figured out for this so that I don't have to worry about this again. Here we go. It's really this. I'm going to do and. I'll change that so that it's permanent. Control C. Let's kill that, and then why did that not copy? There we are. Resource format text.cpp failed. I don't know what that is. So let's see here. If I run that, that'll succeed, and then okay, nothing launched. So clear. Let's zoom in a bit. Drag this out. And then I can just do this and that. When it's finished building, then I can just hit the button and then we can skip that whole error situation and go right into messing with the app. And it should be faster this time too. All right, there we go. Now I'll pick up the headset. And now we won't have that problem of having to close the app and go back in. Here we are. Okay. Stopping camera, starting camera. So actually I should be able to check out my coffee. So we just keep persistently, every 10 seconds, we basically cycle the camera, start and stop it. And that seems to be working. And in theory, this should be able to run forever and we'll never get a crash. So that's what I'm going to test for now, is if this runs for however many minutes. Although, am I going to get that pop-up, that really annoying pop-up? Hold on. Headset camera turned on. God damn it. All right, well, that's fine. I don't really care about it for now. I'm going to assume that Meta's going to fix this issue, because there is a bit of a bug here, kind of, where, again, if the camera runs continuously, it's like crashing. So that's fine. Let me just confirm that this works, and then I can always worry about fixing that later. Yeah. But that would be kind of annoying. Yeah, I mean, that would be kind of annoying if if I had to do that forever. But so far, let's see here. How long are we into this? I should do my logger, so I can actually see the times of those statements. But, we're well over a minute now, I think. All right, well, I can move on, let that keep running. And assuming that works, which it seems like it will, then what's the next thing? Let me see here. What did I say? Okay, so the ability to toggle the camera. That seems like it's done. Grab still images from the camera. Okay. So one thing I did get working here was what I was set image. Current image. Okay, this was loading it from a file. But I thought I had a version of this working. Run camera logic, right? So on ready. Yeah, this was using that other plugin that I'm not using anymore. Grant permissions. Check for camera permissions. And then camera plugin. Yeah, if camera plugin, run camera logic. So what did we do here on camera logic? So we got the feed, we set its format, set it active. We then created a new texture and set the texture for cam feed. Cam feed, which was a Tesseract. Ah, process one frame, basically. Okay, so in theory, if I do that, yeah, so this thing wasn't working. This is the part that wasn't working. So let's set a timer for a second. And then we have our camera texture. We'll get an image. And then we have an image texture that we'll create from the image. Okay, so it is the same thing. And then we set the texture. So I wonder if this will work. Because we still have the texture, right? I don't need to assign the texture to that texture. That texture exists. So in theory, this will work. By the way, let's check back in on our crash report. Everything looks great. Yay. Okay, so that solved it. So I now know that at least turning the feed on and off is enough to make the problem go away. I don't want to just call this forever though. What am I doing here? Stop camera after 10 seconds. Right. Let's comment that out. And then, yeah, I mean, let's see if this works. This should get us a single still image. Yeah, let's do it. The problem is I haven't been getting still images. This is the part that I'm having problems with. And I really hope I don't have to do something complicated in order to get images off of the feed. Like I shouldn't. This worked on mobile. I don't know why it wouldn't work here. The images should be RGB images, so I shouldn't have to do a whole complicated texture thing. But, or what was it? like creating a material with a shader, a custom shader. That's what I saw somebody else do, and I didn't seem to need to do that. So hopefully I don't need to do that. Partly because I just don't understand shaders enough. And probably something I need to learn, but I don't really want to learn that just yet. Okay, so that finished. Let's run that again. And now what I should maybe see is a single still image captured and displayed. But that won't happen. It worked! Oh my lord. Okay, so it was the delay. That was the problem. It all came down to that delay. Wow. Okay, I was mentally ready for me spending the next 2 hours trying to figure out why the heck this wouldn't work. So it really just came down to needing this timer. Which that's a second, I don't know, 0.5. I mean, I can experiment with driving that down. Like, how low can you go? Great. So then that raises the question of... Huh. The materials. What is this material? Like, how much of this do I actually need, I guess is the question. Probably not any of it, right? I got the image. Oh, by the way, let's add a task here. Can download pass-through camera images? Question mark. I'm gonna drag that to the top. Oh, so this. That I can do. That's done. Do I care about this just yet? OCR images from camera. Let's just run right to that, and then I'll see if I can download them. Because if I can download them, I want to set up a bunch of test images. One, so I don't have to like keep using the headset. If I've got some static images that I know work, and I know they're at the right resolution and everything, that unlocks my ability to do a bit of effectively test-driven development and just run the images quickly through code until they work, and then periodically I'll do live tests on the headset, but not needing to do that every 2 seconds. So let's try OCRing an image. Cool. I wasn't ready for this. So what would the goal here be? So this is initializing the pass-through cameras, getting it all set up. I know that, yes, I technically don't need most of this, but I'm going to leave it for now. Like, I probably don't need this viewport or this Tesseract. Yeah. So an OCR manager, going back to code that I haven't looked at in like a month because I've been too busy just trying to get pass-through to work. What do we have here? Let's hide a bunch of this logic. So on ready, we initialize OCR. Process update. On toggle. Oh, so I was still using the button to do this. Then we have a bunch of other utilities. Update time of day, and then OCR complete. Yeah, I just do a bunch of things. What was this? What was this doing? Oh, right. This was like how to call update time of day based on just like, was that page 2? Let's do page 1. Let me do the halfway point between them, just to keep it simple, is what I was doing. That's fine. I don't expect that logic to run. I just need OCR to happen. In fact, let's just turn this off right now. Yeah, I got a bunch of old nodes here. All right, well, I'll start getting back into that soon. So when OCR is complete, go do the thing. But for now, this is the logic I need to care about. So this was grabbing from static images. Oh, right. It's all designed to do static images. Okay. So actually, OCR images from camera means I need to refactor some things. I forgot I was going to have to do this. Well, hey, it's about time we did it. So I had previously asked an AI how to do this a long time ago. And what did it say? Hold on. Let me see here. Scott's complaining. Yeah, no, I already... This might not be the right one. Yeah, fine. I remember being like the last thing I'd asked it at one point. Unless maybe it's like deleting my old messages. Because this is from a while ago, and I just never bothered with it. Error is now. Okay, I guess I'd lost my old conversation. Fine, new conversation. In the Godot engine 4.4, I have a GD extension that calls C++ code. I am currently passing a path to a file to that extension. It then loads the file and does some logic on it. Well, then loads that file. It then passes that file to Tesseract OCR for processing. How do I convert this to use an in-memory file object instead, as I am getting images off of a, which is called a webcam. Doesn't need to know the difference. From a file-based to in-memory processing for webcam images, you'll need to modify both the GD script, yep, and C++. GD script side. Convert it to a byte array. Okay. I think I may have known that. So let's see here. This is all running in main. I should have access to... I'm going to have to make the camera globally accessible. Or do I not need to? No, it's camera feed. Camera feed is just in this script. So for the moment, fine. Let me just take this and I'll just stub it out for the moment. Let's stub this logic out. So let's just do image.new. So we have an image. Well, that's an image texture. I didn't need an image texture. So I should instead, I should be doing var image data. I just call it string for now. Is image dot save. I think JPEGs are more performant, but this is something I can experiment with. Count to do performance trade-offs with PNG, etc. Quality float saves the image as a JPEG to a byte array with a specific quality. Ooh, nice. So I could drop the quality to boost performance as well. And therefore memory usage. Recommended quality values are between even at quality 1 means lossy. If the image contains an alpha channel, sure. So I'm going to do 0.9. Right, and it's not a string, it's a packed byte array. All right, so it's saying, and then I could just pass that data in. So then I should be able to do OCR dot process image data. Here, let me kill that. All right, saying it's expecting a string, but it's not a string. So let's get our OCR.h and our .cpp. To accept packed byte array instead of file path. Packed byte array is a thing? Huh. Oh. Gotcha. That makes sense. Yeah, so Godot CPP is going to provide a bunch of useful things. And we have our, where are we? Process takes a string, so here's Godot CPP. So, and just to get it correct, okay, so it's like, what is that, camel cased? So we've got our packed byte array. Great. And then I think I need to bring this over to here too. Nope, not what I wanted. you. I wanted you. Actually, is that... Okay, function does work. Just didn't see it. Right. So there's our packed byte array. And just to make sure I break everything nice and good, call it image data. So it'll complain immediately. Ampersand image data? I forget what the image that is. Does that mean it's a pointer to like the location in memory of where the image data is? Is that what it's doing? Gotcha. So we're going to do our data size, and then we're going to do a pix read memory for Leptonica. And then we set the image. And then that's it. Okay, so this is reasonably easy. So far, anyway. Processing new image. Start our thread. Okay, let's bring that in and let's comment that out. This is image data. Oh, I had this here. All right, let's just break it up by type. Let's bring this down here. So that way those are together because these are the same kind of thing. My GD script / Python is showing. Okay. That's how we handle the images, the errors rather. So we got data size. And I'm not going to call it pix because it's an image. And is that what we're doing? So we've got that. Oh, and then we do have to do a on failure to initialize, but I've already initialized OCR. If not pix, if not image. So we have API set image to that image. And then we get our result. And then we do our cleanup. Oh, I was already doing pix destroy. Add image. Cool. update your method binding. Oh, yeah. Is that up here? Process. What's that called? What did they call it? Process image data. Change from string parameter to bind method class. The method name is process. It's image data. And the extension is process image data. So I'm just, this is a little confusing because nothing's changing here. Change from string parameter to packed byte array. But that didn't change anything. What are you complaining about? Declaration is incompatible with. Maybe I just have to save. I think that's just wrong. It is because it's packed byte array. And that's a Godot packed byte array. P text. I don't know why it's P text. Let me just put these in sync. I don't know why that needs to matter. Unless there was something here. Did it say in the .h that I needed to do anything special? Oh, if you prefer to work with Godot's image class directly, but then we're just doing it in C++, which, I don't know, maybe that's slightly more performant. Maybe it's slightly faster. But it just means one less step in Godot, one more step in C++, which, I don't know, maybe I'll eventually do that. Well, let's find out if it hates this, because... Oh, did I not... No, I did save that. For process not found. How is it not found? Is it because this needs to be an ampersand? Now it's not warning me anymore. What is that? What's this warning? Okay, it was the ampersand that made it go away. Yeah, it's got to be a pointer. Can't be an actual thing. So let's take a look at scones. Nope. No, that's all Android. Oh, I think it's saying I can't do this from here. All right, it's been a bit since I've done this. History, pipe, grep, scones. Yeah, so then I can do Windows and I can do Android, just like that. Huh. Could not find NDK toolchain. I think I broke something. So if I go there, so now it's on 27. There is no 23. So where's it getting 23 from? It's not getting it from here, right? Or is it getting it from... It's not going to get it from registered types, right? Got to organize a few things. Got a lot of stuff going on here. Bin. Wait, hold on. Make sure NDK version 23.2 is installed. But, you know, I kind of sort of told you to use a different one, right? How is this configured again? Great questions. So, let's see here. Yeah, so we don't have the right NDK. Grep minus RLS 23.2.85 from here. So get LFS is going to find a bunch of things. I'll let that run for a second to see if we declared it somewhere. Where could that possibly have been declared from? I would think it would be the construct file, right? Tools default. Looks like sconsign db light has something about it. Where is that? I think I can delete that, right? I'm just going to go ahead and assume for the moment it doesn't matter. And what I'll do is I'll get Android Studio up. Where are my docs? moment. Oh. Well, that's... Yeah, okay, fine. Maybe I can install multiple NDKs? Which one's it looking for? It wants 23 too. Wasn't that it? Okay, so that's not even set. That was just for VC package. Okay, so it's installing that right now. It's funny to me how people like make a business somehow of dipping into stream chat and like posting nonsense to like some thing. Like I don't know how that business model works, because I'm just gonna ban you over and over again. Like, and who's gonna click on that? All right, come on, finish installing. Maybe then I can build this. If I can build it, then that'd be cool if it just works. That is taking quite a bit longer than I thought it would. Sweet. Now what do I have installed? Both. Yeah, that's like 856.831. Yeah, okay. So now if I run this, it should work. Or it's going to yell at me about something that I broke. Yeah, okay, what? The error doesn't expand properly, so I can't read it correctly. What's it complaining about? But at its core, it's my thing, OCR.cpp. Line 17. Note, in instantiation of function template specialized binding blah 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 blah. Request here. Request here. Oh. It's got to be. Well, see, the AI I think botched that. It told me class DB, but maybe it's Godot class DB in order to get that to work. Because now, because what these other ones needed is processing. Now, see, that was a very vanilla thing. So why was this one different? Unless it's saying, nope. Okay, so now they're all Godot class DB. Note. Void Godot bind method process. Update your method binding in the extension. Ampersand your extension process. You called it process image data. With image data. Packed image data. Change from string parameter to packed byte array. But you're not telling me how to do that. Okay, well, I'll feed it the error, see what it says. I really hate how Control-C doesn't work on this. Control-Insert. Gotta remap that. Getting the following error. I would take the time to figure this out on my own, but I honestly don't care that much. The error occurs because Godot's method binding system doesn't work well with non-constant reference for packed byte array. You need to change your method signature. Solution 1. Use const ref. So still do a class DB bind method as before. But then on process, make this a constant. Oh. Is that intentional? I don't know what I did. So you're saying const packed byte array and image. So that's one option. Solution 2, pass by value. So value, not pointer. Godot's variance. All right, so that built, that finished. Let's see what Godot thinks of it. Let's reload it. Godot might not detect the change right away anyway. Also, I think it's going to use the Windows one. So the Windows one I probably need to rebuild as well. Yeah, let's do that. I think that's true. Yeah. If I let that run. Okay, and then how do I get the image? So I am going to have to refactor some of this anyway. So I do have OCR. I mean, OCR Manager. Well, actually what I have is... Where is it? Game state. I don't want to use it here, but game state is a global script. Alright, I might refactor this later, but what if we move it there? I mean, I could have another global script for containing such things, but then that would be... Where am I using game state? Yeah, okay, I'm calling it from there. So then that would be where this breaks. Game state dot camera feed. Where is this called from? I don't think I'm using this anywhere. Yeah, I'm not using this. That's fine. I'll gotta clean that up and delete it. And then also I can retest this and make sure this works. And if it does work, that I can call it from here, then that means yeah, let's test that. So if I run this now, yeah, I should see all the logs and everything. And if I go over here, project, well, did it finish? It finished, so it made our DLL. Let me just reload the project one more time. And if I build and run it once, that might also fix the console error. There we go. No complaints. So I'm going to run this real quick now. I still don't have an image, but at least I'm kind of getting set up to get an image. And I guess maybe it makes sense. Well, game state. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to figure out the right architecture for this. I'm not too worried because there's not going to be too much of this logic in the app, in the game. Most of the code complexity is going to come later. So I may just either, I could just like rename game. I mean, I could just put it on game state for now and just not worry about it. Where's our little script? Oops, ran the wrong thing at the wrong time. It wasn't done yet. Should have known better. All right, there we go. And this is just a quick test. Let's just make sure that the camera is still freezing like it was. Come on. There we go. Oh, right. Well, that's fine. Because that's a still image. We're taking a still image. All right, everything still seems to be working. So that's good. Now I can just bring over... Here, let's turn that off again. We're not going to stop the camera. We're going to let the camera come on. And then what I need here is the camera texture. Yeah, okay. Let me turn this off for the moment. What do we have here? Camera texture is... So I'm going to let all that get initialized. We'll let the video display in the app for now while I'm debugging this. So what I could do is still keep that Tesseract there. And then, all right, let's do that. Let's do up here on ready. We will get the, we'll go up a tier because OCR manager is attached to where? Oh, it's off by itself. Okay, well, I'll figure out how to grab it. But it should be... So we should have our texture rect. And then what we should be able to do is I'm not really talking correctly this morning. I'm kind of like saying half words and not really making much sense, I'm sure. Yeah, we should be able to go back to this. Just briefly. This should be var camera texture. I'll do it as a string for now. And we're going to do Tesseract dot texture. texture 2D. Nice. Let's clear that out. So, in theory, this should all work on button press. No. Did I turn off the camera turning off? Yeah, the only issue is going to be OCR is going to be slow. So maybe I'll bring this back. Yeah, let me turn it off. So now what's going to happen is basically the same thing as before. So we're going to immediately set up the camera. It's going to have its texture. We'll get the image from it. Yeah, we get the texture, we get the image, save as a JPEG buffer, and process. And we see what happens. I'm a little nervous. I'm a bit nervous, it's just not going to work at all. But I'm also excited. It's always weird when you've spent like months working on something and then you're finally at that moment where everything's coming together and you almost like are like, wait a minute, I'm supposed to stay in the struggle for longer, right? Like, how am I here? So let's see if this actually works. We'll get the permissions queued up. Come on. This could be the moment of truth, maybe. All right, send the permissions and let's launch the app. Oh, and I need some text to be able to OCR. So I'll bring a book in front of me. This book, because it's got charts and stuff on the front, I don't know if it's going to OCR properly, but as long as it OCRs a word correctly, then I at least know the system's working. Okay, is this crashing? Why is it not? Get node on a null value. Yeah, well, that was going to happen, wasn't it? Fine. Let's try that again. Batsy, what is the app? So the app is a VR app that uses the new Passthrough camera API from the MetaQuest. And what it's supposed to let you do is take a real physical book off the shelf while you're wearing the VR headset, open it in front of you, and then it will match the ambiance of the scene around you to the context of the story that you're reading. So you can stay lost and focused and in the zone while reading a book and just have a more deeper, richer experience when reading. That's the goal. So hopefully if the app is doing its job correctly, it's not distracting you from reading a book, but it's like helping you stay lost in the story. Okay. That error should go away. And this is the moment of truth. Like I finally have got the pass-through camera support working. And so now, and I've got OCR working separately on static images. So now this is, can I take images from the camera, pass them through, and actually do OCR on them and display them? Okay, so if I, this is going to be a little bit hard to do. Okay, that's it, just resetting. All right, let me reach over and press the button. Is it OCRing? Wow, the OCR was fast there. I think it's because I'm at a lower res. So, did it do anything? No, it's blank. It returned nothing. My debug logic is missing. Let me fix that again real quick. Where did I have that? Where's the... Was that OCR manager? No, that was game state. Yeah. Let's just do page 1, page 2. Okay. I mean, it didn't crash. It actually tried to work. So let me get better set up with taking this. Let's run it again. Yeah, the problem is, like, I guess the way I have this set up right now is I have to be able to, like, hit that digital button while the camera's facing there. So, you know what? Maybe I will put the book in a different spot where it's actually kind of where the button will be, so I can hit them together. Literally just started using Unity for a VR project and worried for a sec you were doing my idea. Yours is more ambitious and also thankfully different. What's your idea? What are you working on? Would love to hear that. Let's see. Come on, controller. Wake up. There we are. Come on, come on, come on. Why are you so slow? Okay. So now if I do... See, that is way too fast. It literally returned a result in like 0.2 seconds. So something's wrong there. I'm not getting an image correctly. Processing new image. Yeah, so processing new image. Yeah, it was literally sub-second return. So that's not correct. It's not. It's OCRing on probably nothing. I mean, okay, so you're worried someone will take your idea. So I actually work in startups and I help a lot of startups. I've actually like helped build 35 plus startups at this point. Like, and it's usually like non-technical founders going from nothing to something. And if there's a bunch of things I've learned in working in startups. And one of them is that, like, first off, if it's a good idea, even if it's not a good idea, there's probably 1,000 people around the world who have had the same idea you've had. And the question is just who's brave enough and has the motivation enough to actually work on the idea. And you'll find, like, of those 1,000 people, most of them will just not even try it. And then those who do, most of them will fail pretty quickly. They'll just give up. They'll get lazy. But even then, like, if you share your idea openly, that's the best way to get feedback and opinions that are going to help you have a better idea in terms of helping your idea to become the thing it needs to be. If you hold it close to your chest, like, no one's going to steal your idea is the reality. And also, like, even if they did, you've got a head start and they probably don't have the same vision as you and they probably haven't spent as much time thinking about it as you. So I wouldn't worry about someone taking your idea. Is kind of my thought. First time. Well, suppose I'll say as it has been done in MetaQuest, but not Steam VR. Okay. So you're doing something for the Quest that... So currently... Oh, okay. So you're trying to do a Steam VR app. Something that's going to be Steam VR. Okay. That's cool. But yeah, I mean, if you don't want to share, don't share. That's fine. I'm not... No pressure. But yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's something that involving Passthrough, maybe. Okay, let me see. What is going on with this? So one thing I can do to try to debug this is, I mean, I was setting the texture. So this is the camera texture. And the camera texture gets the feed. GameState.camera feed. So I'd already put that over in GameState. I probably should move something else over. Oh, Livro. Okay. Yeah, I think I came across that in some of my research for my app. Abandoned, not going. I'm wanting to make a comic reader. Yeah. Yeah, I've come across a couple of comic book readers and a couple of prototypes for comic book readers over the years, but I haven't seen anybody like Livro I downloaded and installed and tested with, but like, and it was cool, but I was like, okay, like, are you going to make improvements to it? Are you going to make this thing better? And it just kind of like, it didn't feel like it went far enough for me. Maybe Passthrough, but you have a PSVR, so not an option. Yeah, well, and the other thing I'm realizing with the thing I'm building is the hardware might not be good enough. People might not actually want to read books in VR. The headset's going to be heavy on the head. But I'm also operating with the assumption that, you know, whether it's the next round of hardware that comes out or the hardware after that, things will get lighter, the cameras will get better, the displays will get better. And so even if what I'm building right now isn't viable just yet, it will be eventually, is my hope. PSVR has such clarity, yeah. Yeah, when I originally had the idea for this, my initial thought was to like go like the ebook reader route. But honestly, like partly out of laziness and then partly out of just wanting to do something bigger and grander, I was like, do I really want to create like an ebook store and then have to like compete with Kindle and all that? And yeah, then I did see apps like Livro where, yeah, they let you like basically install files on the device, right? So you can add a file and then load it into the experience. And so that's where, for me, like, I always like to try to, I don't know, be a little more bold, a little more fun. It'll be more fun for me to build something that uses the pass-through camera. So I decided, hey, let me go down that route of like, let's go crazy and build something that might not work. I'll look into plugins like, and even legit comic sources like DC or Marvel. Yeah, that's cool. Sweet. If you've got like a prototype somewhere, I would love to check it out. I don't know if you have anything on itch.io or any of that stuff, but would love to see what you're working on. I'm always excited to see what other people are toying around with. I couldn't even test Livro as Quest app. Really? I think, actually, did I test it on the Quest? I'm trying to think. I know, yeah, I think I had it on the... Did I? I can't remember where I tested it. I think I did get it working briefly. Or no, was it a different app? I did look at... my brain's blurred right now. I did test something on like the Quest 2, which I had before, because I borrowed that from a friend. And they had some app on there. So it might have been Livro, or maybe I just watched the demo of Livro, and I'm telling myself that I saw it in VR when I didn't. Literally just started an hour ago. Well, where's your prototype, you know? Yeah. Cool. Well, it's good to start, man. Started as I couldn't get Livro going, yeah. All right, so what am I trying to do here? All right, so I already have that. What I need is, what do I need? The texture, probably? I just need the texture. I need to get the camera texture over. But if I do that, then I can actually assign it. So yeah, let's get the texture moved out. camera texture is this. So let's move that over to game state. And then I can do there. So now that texture is there, which means I can do GameState.camera texture here. And then I can turn this off. I can do these two, right? So this would be the next test that I can do here. I can do our image texture is create from image, right? Because I would get the get image. Wait, what? Yeah, texture, camera texture. Yeah, camera texture to get image, right. So I get the image just for the heck of it. And now I'm setting it. So I'm going to turn off these two. And now what I should see is my Tesseract in the scene's not going to have video playing on it. But when I press the button, I should be able to set an image to it. So let's at least confirm that works. And then at least I know I've got a valid image. Which means if it's still not working at that point, then the issue is either in the C++ code or the issue is somewhere else. Let me see, checking it on chat again. Minding the baby, so came online to watch Unity tutorials. So you have a young kid at home? Yeah, I remember when my daughter was born, I had a keyboard, we had a chair with sort of like a high back to it. So I remember having a keyboard on that, and then I had her in like the harness on me. And then I was I was like standing up gaming PC, like rocking back and forth to keep the kid asleep while gaming. Yeah, good times. Here, let me run that again. I don't know if I set the permissions. All right. Let's give that a moment to load. No image, shouldn't see an image, but I should the second I hit the button. Yeah, great, okay. So we have an image, which means, so this image is a valid image. And I'll keep this logic here, so that way I can at least, it'll help me debug to see what should be OCR'd. There is a slight chance that maybe it is the book cover being in color that's messing it up. But again, it OCR'd so quickly that I'm a little shocked at things. It's possible it needs to be a PNG. But then again, I was working with JPEGs before. And so converting it to JPEG should be fine. Yeah. No, yeah, well, I had gotten my gaming PC and hooked it up to the TV. And the game I was playing was a casual one. I wasn't playing wasn't trying to play like a shooter. It's getting to get my heart racing or anything. I was playing, I think I was playing Kerbal Space Program. And so it's just, when you got a kid in a harness on your chest and you're trying to, and you have to stay, at least for my daughter, I had to stay standing. I wasn't going to be able to sit down with that thing. So I'm pacing the room anyway. I might as well like basically do standing desk while playing a little bit of a game casually. So, you know, we all do what we do to survive. And with 3 kids, yeah, I can imagine. I'm the youngest of 6, so unfortunately I only have 1 kid though, so haven't had to deal with that nightmare. All right, so it should be a packed byte array. The OCR is set up to handle a packed byte array. So what's the deal? Oh, process new, right, what are my logs? Oh, well, I didn't run it, so I just confirmed that things were working. All right, let me just run it again. Although I shouldn't have to do that. Yeah, let me just run it. And let's see what it comes back with on the logs. So, oh wait, I did change it, didn't I? Yeah, I got to rebuild. I do have to rebuild. I thought I didn't. Yeah, I have a side project that I worked on when my daughter was little. I call it Miss Moment. It's on my GitHub. And it's a Raspberry Pi project with a camera on it. And basically, you'd mount it on the wall, and I would point it at the room where my kid was hanging out. Not connected to the internet, not making any network calls. But the camera is always on, but it's not saving the feed anywhere. So you've got a camera that's running all the time. But again, it's not a security camera. It's not streaming it to the internet. It's not saving it to a file. But anytime something would happen, you know, you'd be out of the room checking on something, and all of a sudden your kid would be crying, and you're like, ugh, what's going on? I'd run over, and I had a button on the Raspberry Pi. So you press the button, and it would take the last 2 minutes of video and dump it to a file. And so I call it Miss Moment. And so then you go back and you look at the video, and then you'd see, like, okay, like, what did I miss? Like, what happened? And I ended up creating a video montage, 2 video montages, one at like, you know, the 1 year mark and one at the 2 year mark. And my wife loves these video montages. And it was just like all these amazing moments that we missed as parents. Again, because you're distracted, you're not quite paying attention. And it's everything from like the kids playing with blocks and they accidentally smack themselves in the face with a block, to like climbing and falling off a chair, to, you know, grabbing a cat's tail, like all these little moments that, you know, it's like after the fact you're like, oh, I wish I had caught that on camera. And so that's what Miss Moment is. It's like it helps you catch those things, those moments on camera. Yeah, dude, stay in contact. I assume I've got my contact info on like YouTube, but yeah, I mean, I have like what I'm on Twitch, YouTube. I think I've got links there to my website, my blog. So by all means, like reach out, shoot me a message, and we'll connect. However you can figure out to connect with me, we can connect. All right, let me run the permissions. Now let's try this again, and let's see what the logs tell me this time. But yeah, if you find my GitHub, you can check out Miss Moment. I think I started working on audio support, and that became a nightmare. So I can't remember the state of the project. It might be in a broken state, but if you remove all the audio stuff, it's like a 1-file Python script. And yeah, it runs on a Raspberry Pi, runs great. Like it's amazing. All right, so I got process new image. So that means I got past this step here in the C++ code. And let's go with data size. So let's do a gd log Data size. I forget. How did I have this working? Why are you complaining? What do you mean you're unidentified? It's right above you. Pix star image equals pixmem. Oh, it's because this doesn't have a semicolon. Let me see all my log statements. What do I got? Yeah, so I just have a single string message. I forget if I'd ever tested this working in a better way. Or like, what are the limits of what I can send through it? All right, fine. Let's just keep it simple. So data size, and then we'll do GD log. Data size, but I think I might have to convert that to string, right? Yeah, how do I convert that to? There's no like .to string, right? Let's see here. C++, int to string. String. Ugh. C++, int to string. There we go. Oh, really? Wait, no. To string. But that's to Godot string. And I'm already doing that, right? Size of string is that's the buffer. Where's message? Message.substring. Print. Buffer. Oh, right. Okay. That's fine. I could make it a Godot string. That seems like that's a valid argument into print. Does that work as a str.sub? Yeah, you could do substring on that. So that should be fine. It's going to hate that, right? Too many arguments in function call. My C++ is a bit rusty. Okay, what if I just did data size dot it's like to string, right? Typing right now. Is that working? Is it not complaining anymore? Did it stop complaining? No suitable user-defined conversion from standard string to Godot string exists. Oh, that's expecting a Godot string. God. What's going on here? Alright, looks like he dropped out. What did he say? Dinner in UK. Okay, cool. Hate to dash. Not a problem. See you next time. All right. Let me take a quick breath. All right. Let's dive back in. So, you know what? Let's ask the AI. How do I convert size t to a Godot string in C++? Okay, so it should be that. Why don't you let me copy? All right, let's try that. GD log. All right, seems happy. Kill that. Okay, so that'll get us the data size. That'll at least tell us that we got the data coming through. And then pix read mem might be the problem. But I would have, if we didn't get an image. See, this doesn't have anything on it, right? There's no, yeah. So if we didn't have an image, it should have yelled and said failed to load image to our log. Instead, we go to Hawker results. There is a chance, by the way, that the image is just not big enough. So let's go with... No, we're going with choice 3. We should be getting a pretty large image, actually. Is there any way for me to know this? What do we have here? Image dot. Wow, actually, I need to learn how to like go inspect the docs instead of just going through the attributes. This is a much cleaner way to go look through things. So what do we have? Compress, create, crop, detect, flip, get data size. I wonder if get data size is gonna get size returns the image size. Yeah, I don't want that. But data size. Fine, we'll get data size. Let's do that. Get data size, right? have image of size. Okay. And the one thing I forgot to do was like run our build again. But it should be fast since it already went once and it's fresh and warm. It should build this pretty quick. Right. So run those two. And then I should be able to just... I'll let that finish. Even though I don't need the Windows version, I don't think. I think it does use the Windows version in the editor. And so if there are any like syntax or calling issues, like it'll yell about it here. But let's run that now. All right, it's doing the install, and what do we got? Let's run those permissions in a moment. Is it finished? Come on, finish load. There we go. Now let's check it out. Not that it matters, but I'll queue the book up. So we're eliminating error variables one by one. So if I hit that, what do we get? Here we go. So we have an image of size 368640. And then this is a data size of 193309. That seems wrong. Okay. Let me ask our friendly neighborhood AI. Let me kill this for now. Just kill the app. Okay, what's it saying here? I have the following code. It does not appear to be doing OCR correctly. It was working properly before for static images, for images from files. The in-memory files don't work. In GD script, I can confirm that I have a image texture for an image of size from image.get data size. Is this right? So we got their image, we got the data size. Oh no, it's not image texture. We're just getting the image. No, I didn't want you to do that. Did I have an image? An image of side in C++, the log statement for, where are we? Is returning 193309. Let's just see what that says. Instead of the raw image, right. It compresses the data, but Leptonica expects the compressed format. Oh, there might be a few issues with your approach. Let me provide several solutions. Verify the image format being passed. Yeah, save to buffer, PNG format, or try JPEG. Well, I was doing JPEG before, but maybe I should try PNG. And that does make sense that the size, since the size drops so much. Yeah, okay. Huh, okay. Try different image format. Okay. So what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What's the path forward? I can do... we could just try PNG. Interesting that JPEG wants a compression rate or something. Okay. Okay. Let me think here. Yeah, I mean, let's just try that. If it can handle compressed, that could be good or bad. I mean, that might be good for speed, but bad for anything else. Let's get casting going again. And that's still doing its thing. Okay, got the permissions there, and then let's see here. What do we get? Maybe I should just have the book permanently set up here. Hey! It worked with PNG. Ah, okay. So it was JPEG. Oh, by the way, that was fast. That was very fast. Ho ho ho. Okay. So it was crossing G the. Okay. Bam. We're cooking with gas now. Wow. Okay, that worked. So it works. All right, I'll stick with yeah, what did it end up being? So the image size was this. What was that? 3.6. This ends up being, it ends up compressing it. So maybe the compression's better. All right, now I need to check new scenario. Okay, so I gotta put this on a timer, I think. So instead of on detector toggled, let me think. So we're setting up a texture. This is a one-time thing, and this is done. We're toggling the camera on and off. I think I'm going to comment these out. Just because they'll be noisy. Basically every 10 seconds. This is going to happen. When do I want this to happen? Stop camera. What is stop camera going to do? Right. I don't know where this will live permanently. But for now, until I find a better home for it, let me move it over into OCR Manager. It's a terrible place for it because this file is getting big, and I definitely don't want it doing this kind of stuff. But might as well put it here. And I don't need any of this. Let's just keep it like that. Very nice. All right. Yeah. And then I'll leave that there for now. And then here on ready, I can probably let me do a new thing here. So instead of stop camera, for the sake of performance, what if I do the opposite? Instead of having the camera on most of the time, I'll just turn on the camera briefly to take a snapshot, since I know this can work. We'll call it OCR image. And we will we'll wait 10 seconds. Why not? Let's call it OCR image. And we'll do it every 30 seconds. I mean, that was pretty fast on the OCR. Let me... Fine, I'll keep this here, but I'm not going to use it. I'll clean it up later when I'm finally ready to merge code or like push code. Then I'll figure out like maybe a sensible refactor to clean it up, tighten it up. All right, so for this, since I'm basically gutting it and redoing it, so if we go here, we could do false on the camera being active. So we'll set it active, and then, I mean, I just don't need to touch the button. I don't need to do this image index thing either. That's old news. Where are we? But I do want this though. Right? Yeah, so if OCR is not processing, so if we're not, so if OCR is working on something, don't do this, right? But if it's done, I'm doing 30 seconds for now, just out of paranoia, but hopefully I can bring that down to like every 10 seconds. So if OCR is done processing, we set the feed to true. I may have to sleep. Yeah, where is that? Let's do it. And let's set it to just I don't know, 1.5 seconds, whatever. Let's just make sure like the camera's good and on. And then we'll get an image. We'll then immediately turn the feed off. We'll print out some info, make sure we've got a camera size. We will set a texture just so we can confirm visually that everything's working correctly. We'll then build our buffer, and we will then call OCR. And then we will recall this exact same function in 30 seconds. Cool. So now I can just let this run, and I can do test after test after test with the headset on. All right, let's give it a whirl. First real live test of this loop of logic. And this is like the central loop of the app. So if this works, now this like opens the floodgates for me to work. And if it's fast, if it's like reasonably speedy, this like opens the door for a lot of things for me. All right, let's get the camera up. Permissions, let's set those in a moment. Come on, come on, come on. Build, build, build. Of course, I'm going to need one hand holding the headset and the other hand holding a book, which is going to start becoming fun. Okay, continue. There should be a delay, right? I forget how long the delay is. Oh, there it goes. It worked. And did we OCR? We OCR'd quickly and we didn't get a good result. It was fast. Why did that not work? That should have gotten an OCR result. That's something. Let's give it one more try. Did it crash? Wait, what? It crashed. Okay, well, I didn't even get a chance to try it on a real page. All right, we can try that again. So that image size is pretty good. Like, that's kind of within expectation. The first couple of times, it didn't get anything. I don't know why it crashed. I can look at ADB and find out. It did OCR something. It's also a book cover, so let me just try this again. And actually this time, let me stack up a couple of books here to put the headset on, and then I'll have this book opened. Metacam Quest has stopped. What is this? Metacam Quest. Okay. That was new. Let's try this now. Let's see what the camera does. Getting Haka results. So now it's taking its sweet time to actually run. Probably because it has a lot of text to work on. So this may actually be... Okay, let me kill the app. Okay, that looks pretty good, actually, all things considered. Okay, so it's working. I think the issue before was just the cover of a book. Colors and charts it's going to struggle with, probably. It's not necessarily going to perform well on that scenario. Max distance reached. Oh, I wonder if that was getting that from the page. No, that's not the OCR result. What is max distance reached? Huh? That's a little bit different. I don't remember seeing max distance reached in any of my code. Let's go look at the results here. Bias toward action. Yeah, okay. So it did it. Okay, so... To make my life easy for debugging this, I probably need two things, right? I probably need two Tesseract. One for the live video feed. And then the other one for like when it's... So I probably should get this working with the button. And so what I should do is probably have two images side by side. So when I press the, like, one, I can always see the live video feed. And then when I press, that way I can like align the book in front of me to be like properly set up for a proper test. And then when I press the button, display it on a second one. That'll just make it easiest for me to debug this. Because it's not, like, it's going to be a pain in the ass if every 5 seconds this thing is running. By the way, how long did that take to process this text? And then also the other thing I want to figure out is how can I dump this to a file? Because then I can then go debug this as test data. Like if I can check to see, hey, like, why was this so terrible here? Is it terrible because the image quality was low? Was the compression? Should I be going with a larger image? Should I be going with a smaller image? Like, what's the deal there? But how long did it take to run? So we did processing image. So 5643. Sorry, 5644. And it took 54, so 20 seconds? That's not bad, actually. Okay, so when before I was having the problem of it taking over a minute, that's probably because it was an uncompressed, large, like, I don't even know what the resolution is of the images I was taking with my phone, but those were big pictures. Okay, so that means I need to focus on quality, not speed. I mean, I want it to get below 10 seconds, but yeah, okay. So that means, what does that mean? OCR images from camera is done. Let's work on this next. This I'm going to call done. I'm just going to delete this one. So I want to be able to... download images. What else am I looking for? Yeah, I gotta figure out all the knobs to turn. It is compressing, and maybe I don't want it to do that. That's really gonna hurt quality. All right, so I do probably need to do just some sort of like OCR quality. But I don't know what my metric of success is going to be for that. I'm confident I can probably get it below 10 seconds, but these two are going to be in balance with each other. So once, improving quality is going to reduce time. Like it'll make it take longer. And reducing time is probably also going to reduce quality. So I'll have to balance the two. I'm not necessarily going to split hairs too much about making either perfect, but I would like it to say, like, hey, can I do it in about 10 seconds? And what's the best quality I can get for around 10 seconds of time? And then this for the cameras, then I can, there's a couple of things I need to experiment with there. But after these three tasks are done, then it's the strategy for environment changes, which, making the sun move and things like that based on the context of the story that you're reading. And that is the deep well that I want to focus on next. And by next, I mean that's like the entire project there from there. It's like literally this stuff is just setting the table, and this is the real meal of what we're doing. But I do need to spend at least a little bit of time. I know like some of the work I've been doing right now it's been kind of boring for me also. Like it's interesting, but it's also a slog to try to get the OCR quality and performance and speed and pass-through camera APIs and all that nonsense. So I'd like to move on from it and start building out something compelling and interesting in this app. But I do think I need to at least download some images, set up some test data, experiment with OCR performance locally outside of VR, and just see like, hey, what knobs can I... So if I can download a bunch of test images through Passthrough and figure out what those sizes are going to be, and then like turn some knobs and figure out what the right settings are to get both like 10-second speed, but also the best quality for it locally outside of VR, then I can tune my C++ logic to match that. And then hopefully just call it a day. Like I'm sure there's always quality improvements I can make, but if it's at least good enough for now, move on to environmental stuff. So I think that'll be the next thing. I think I'm probably going to stop here. It's 1 o'clock my time. I've been streaming for over 2 hours. Yeah, I think I'll give this a stop here. And yeah, this is exciting. I'm getting really close to moving on to the meat of this project, getting rid of this table, getting rid of this button. I think I need it a little bit longer, but I think this is also going to be dev testing mode. I think I'm going to hide this stuff. I think I'm always going to have it. And I'll just disable it when I'm like, I'll have production mode and then debugging mode. And in debug mode, this button and everything will probably still be there. Anyway, thanks for those hanging out with me. Batsy, good to hear from you, and we'll chat soon.